This story is around 40 years old. In 1980, 23-year-old Kamla was living a normal life. But one day, her father suddenly disappeared. She searched for him everywhere, but he was nowhere to be found. Kamla's mother had already passed away, and after her father went missing, she was left completely alone. After several failed attempts to find him, everyone gave up hope. Amidst this distress, Kamla had no one to take care of her. So her uncle and aunt arranged her marriage with Ajit, the eldest son of the Prabhakar family, so that she would always have someone to look after her. Ajit supported Kamla through her difficult time, and she started feeling a little better. She slowly began to adjust to her new home and life, and eventually she started feeling happy. The whole family loved her and took care of her, especially her brother-in-law Rajesh. But soon, things started to change. One night, Kamla was sleeping when she was woken up by the sound of someone crying. She looked beside her and saw that Ajit was still sleeping, and no one else was in the room. She heard the sound again, but still, there was no one there. Thinking it was just her imagination, she went back to sleep. However, from that day on, she started hearing those crying sounds all the time. She started believing that the voice was her father's, crying in pain and asking for her help. Kamla became terrified and told Ajit and Rajesh about it. They thought it was just her imagination and told her that she was probably missing her father too much. But over time, Kamla's health began to deteriorate. She started getting angry over small things and would threaten to kill anyone who told her not to do something. Everyone assumed that the grief of losing her father was affecting her mind. But amid all this, Kamla continued to hear the voices. One day the crying sound came from an old room in the mansion. When she went inside, she found a black idol there. The moment she saw it, she felt an uneasy sensation. As soon as she touched the idol, she felt a strange suffocation and started struggling to breathe. Terrified, Kamla quickly put the idol down. She was about to leave the room when something heavy hit her foot. When she looked carefully, Kamla then noticed that the room was filled with human bones, scattered everywhere. There was blood all around. As she looked around more, she found a letter. She picked it up and read it. The letter warned that the idol was cursed and had tormented the people before them as well. As soon as she finished reading, she heard her father's screams again, and suddenly the idol started shaking violently. Kamla felt an overwhelming heaviness and then lost consciousness. When she woke up, she found herself in her own room, surrounded by family members. She started telling them everything, but they said they had found her unconscious in the living room. They assured her that it was just a bad dream, gave her medicine, and told her to sleep. After dinner, Ajit went for a walk, and when he returned, he saw that Kamla was not on the bed. Instead, she was sitting in a dark corner of the room, facing the wall and laughing hysterically. Eerie music. Ajit called out to Kamla. She turned towards him, crying and begging for help. "I am innocent. Save me." Ajit was heartbroken seeing her like this. He hugged her and tried to calm her down, finally putting her back to bed. But from the next day, Kamla's condition worsened. If anyone called her name, she would turn to them and threaten to kill them. Her appearance started changing. Her face became pale, her eyes had deep dark circles, and she behaved like a mad woman. The entire Prabhakar family was terrified. Kamla would laugh like a maniac at night and cry during the day. They feared she had gone insane, but before they could do anything, something terrible happened. One evening, Kamla's father-in-law was having tea in his room when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his back, as if something sharp had stabbed him. When he turned around, he saw Kamla standing there, laughing like a lunatic. Her nails were dug into his back. He screamed in pain, and the family rushed in. They somehow restrained Kamla, tied her to the bed, and locked her inside her room. But that night, Kamla disappeared from the bed. Ajit searched for her and found her running toward his father's room. Before he could do anything, Kamla grabbed her father-in-law and like a wild animal tore his flesh apart and ate it. The entire house echoed with screams and horror, but no one could stop her. Ajit and his mother locked Kamla inside the room with her father-in-law's dead body. Inside, Kamla screamed like a demon, shouting, "I will eat everyone!" Ajit's mother realized that Kamla was possessed by an evil spirit or had become a witch herself. They fled the mansion that night and never returned. Later, when people entered the mansion, they found 4 dead bodies. Ajit's parents, Kamla and Rajesh, was nowhere to be found. People believe that Kamla's spirit still haunts the mansion and kills anyone who enters. That's why the mansion has been abandoned ever since.